Alright, what's going on today, guys? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my picks for some of the best underrated weapons in Elden Ring. So just weapons that you don't really see a whole lot of attention on YouTube, or people who don't really tend to use a whole lot. If this is your third or fourth video of mine, if you don't mind dropping a like on the video, and maybe consider hitting the subscribe button, it'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the first spot at number 5. Alright, so coming in number 5 spot, we're going to be taking a look at the Black Knife. You can get this weapon from the Black Knife Assassin in Altus. I'm sure all of you by now know exactly where to get it. I gotta say it either way, but we're going to go ahead and move into the weapon itself. It has an amazing weapon art, that percentage base damage that you get from, Malekith with his Depths of Death. And this weapon specifically, it's really, really good for Elden Beast just because he's immune to literally everything except Destined Death effect. So you can go ahead and use this weapon to absolutely melt his health bar, it don't matter. I went ahead and used this on Kindred just because they're actually resistant to this effect. And as you guys can see in the gameplay footage, it's absolutely just melting the health bar. It's a very viable weapon. You can keep your distance. I mean, most daggers you got to be up and close and personal, but with the Ash War on this weapon, you can use it from a distance. Obviously, you can go ahead and use your Shard of Alexander or any of your Ash War buffing incantations and use this weapon proficiently. And you know what? I feel like daggers don't get the recognition that they should. Obviously, you get the Reduvia where you need it. It's got inherent blood loss buildup, but this one specifically, honestly, just because of Ash War, yeah, I know at the end of the day, it's just a dagger. If you run out of mana, it's not going to go too well for you, but I mean, if you use it proficiently, if you have a good amount of mana, it's not going to matter, and these bosses with stupid health pools, you can absolutely melt them. This is on New Game +6, by the way, so I mean, the damage you're seeing is absolutely insane. Sorry about the little bump there. I managed to drop my mic. But we're going to go ahead and hit him with another Ash of War. Roll into that. We're going to hit him with one more. And that should take care of Kindred, along with taking care of the Black Knife. Let's go ahead and move forward to the number 4 spot. Alright, coming into the number 4 spot, we're going to be taking a look at Morgotts' Cursed Sword. You can acquire this weapon by using Morgotts' Remembrance from Enya at the Round Table Hold. I'm really glad I gave this weapon a try, as it comes with the Great Sword moveset, so it's along with the Bloodhound's Fang. I feel like it's overshadowed by the Bloodhound's Fang and even the Blasphemous Blade, just because they all deal fire-ish damage if you put Blood Flame Blade on Bloodhound's Fang anyway. This weapon can be super buffable. You can do your Fire Scorpion Charm, your Flame Tear, your Shard of Alexander, as the weapon art actually does fire damage. And as you can see in the gameplay, it absolutely just tears Erdtree avatars apart. And speaking of ripping bosses apart, this weapon is definitely a good take to look at. Anything that isn't Fire Giant, that isn't anything that isn't resistant to fire damage. We all know that fire damage is absolutely freaking bonkers in this game. It does freaking work. And honestly, along with the fire damage, it has an insane amount of poise damage too. I'm not running the tiers and or the build to support it, but you guys should definitely take a look at the Morgotts' Cursed Sword. Honestly, it deserves way more attention than it gets. I honestly think that this weapon is among the Bloodhound's Fang. Not Blasphemous Blade, we all know how busted that thing is. But it's definitely a great remembrance weapon, and I think it definitely sits solid at this number 4 spot. But with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and finish off this Erdtree avatar. One more roll, take him down with one more Ash of War. We're going to go ahead and proceed to the number 3 spot. Here we go. So alright, coming in the number 3 spot, we're going to look at the Wing of Astel. If you have an int build or anything of that matter where you're just pumping the int, or it's the perfect magician's sidekick. And it's not only that, this thing actually does stupid amounts of damage, which is after War Nebula. As you can see here, we already pretty much took out all Gideon's health. It's really, 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 really effective against larger bosses such as dragons or even the fire giant. I actually had footage of Fortisax when I was going to use this weapon, and it got corrupted, so we're going to go with Gideon with this one instead. So we're basically just going to showcase the Josh of War, the Nebula, which makes this weapon absolutely insane. You can also use the charge heavy, which it shoots out a beam with absolutely no cost to your mana whatsoever. So, I mean, absolutely busted. And as you can see, Gideon absolutely just cannot take this. So that's going to be the Wing of Astel at number 3. Let's move into the number 2 spot. So at the number 2 spot, we're going to be looking at Eleonoras Poleblade. I'm really glad that Twin Blades were introduced in Elden Ring. I think they have an excellent moveset, just in general. But for this one too, I feel like it just does not get the attention it deserves, especially with its amazing Ashen Ward, the dance that it does. It has inherent blood loss build-up. We know how absolutely busted bleed can be in these games, especially this one specifically. And even if you can go ahead and power stance it too, it just does insane damage. There's a build out there that Nixar did. You can power stance this with a Frost Twin Blade and it immediately resets the Frostbite because this weapon has inherent fire damage. So as another weapon on this list, you know, you can buff it with your Fire Scorpion Charm, Shard of Alexander, the Flame Tier, etc. The DPS on this weapon is absolutely insane, and I feel like it definitely deserves more recognition than it gets. I really hope that you guys give this one a try. Trust me, it is definitely worth the mini quest that you deserve to get it. But with that out of the way, we're going to go do one more Blood and Flame dance just to show off how cool it looks. We're going to go ahead and move into the number 1 spot. Coming in the number 1 spot, this is going to be Death Poker. If you guys have seen any shorts on my channel, any videos on my channel, it don't matter, whatever, you guys know that I advocate this weapon. This is seriously underrated. This is everything that Darkmoon Greatsword wishes it could be, but better. The amount of Frostbite buildup and damage per second this Ashen Ward and this weapon can do is absolutely insane. It is incredible. It can completely turn a boss fight around in 1 click, or 2 clicks, I guess, if you're using the trail. But either way, we're going to take a look at Godskin Duo, and this is one of the few weapons in the game that can absolutely trivialize this fight. I know a lot of you have issues with it, but honestly, if you're using an int build, this is a good option to go towards. We're going to go ahead, take them both out. I'm going to come around here and wait for one of them to spawn back in. Gonna lay down 2 ghost trails to stack the damage. And he already phase transitioned there, and one more should take him out. And that'll take care of Godskin Duo, along with wrapping things up with the Death Poker at the number 1 spot. As always, I appreciate you guys watching the videos, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you.